Hi there, Doc from Barcast Audio here with the second video on our series for your bar exam roadmap. I'm going to give you all the tools you need to pass the bar exam. Let's jump right into it. Before we get started, be sure to subscribe to this channel for more of these videos. And be sure to check us out at barcastaudio.com for audio lectures, essay attack sheets, whatever you may need in preparation for the bar exam. Your number one goal as you begin bar prep is going to be building up your self-esteem. And I'm going to tell you why. A great quote I heard once was that you can expect great things from people who expect great things from themselves. As corny as it may seem, self-esteem is critical for the purposes of achieving a long-term goal, as it allows us to see the big picture, to see the forest for the trees. Students with a strong sense of self-esteem just know that they can pass the bar exam as long as they put in the work. Now, putting in the work is not going to be easy. Ask anyone who's taken this exam. But by building up your self-esteem early on in the bar exam process and taking active steps to maintain that self-esteem and your right mindset, you are going to set yourself up for success later on in this process. Now, for many of you, you may not be in the best headspace after law school. Maybe law school broke you down a bit. You entered in thinking that you were this brilliant student. You didn't score as well as you needed to. Maybe you lost part of your scholarship. Maybe you didn't get on law review. Maybe you didn't get the greatest job after law school. So maybe you're not feeling as great about yourself as maybe you once did, or maybe you're someone who never felt that great about themselves as a student. So you feel a lot of doubt, you feel a lot of anxiety, a lot of trepidation about the bar exam. Now, a certain amount of trepidation, of anxiety is useful in bar prep, but generally what we're going to want to do here is build you up. The alternative is that you're going to feel doubt creep in, especially within the bar exam process, because so much of it is concentrated failure and repeated failure. It can be easy for doubt to seep into the cracks within your self-esteem and for that doubt to ultimately tank your success, tank your ability to persevere over the long haul, over this multi-week bar exam process. So keep in mind that you want to keep your doubt at bay. You want to build up that self-esteem early on. I've said a lot of words here thus far, but what it really boils down to is if you do not believe in your heart of hearts that you can pass the bar exam, you will not pass it. It's that simple, really. You need to believe, as foolish as that sounds, you need to have faith in yourself that if you do the work, if you do what is going to be provided to you by your bar exam courses, if you stay the course, then you can pass this exam. Now, what is the second step in establishing a strong mindset for the bar exam that you need to pass the bar exam? Step 2 here is treat studying like a job. Too often, students kind of roll into bar prep after maybe taking a few weeks off from their law school finals, from 3L year, where maybe they weren't as diligent with their studying, and they just feel like they can kind of freestyle. They feel like they've learned some study tactics that have worked for them. They don't necessarily need to lock in from 9 to 5 or 9 to 6. They can do whatever they kind of want, whatever may have worked for them in law school. Don't do that. Don't be that student, because too often students do not treat studying like a job, and that is the only way you can get this done. And what I say when I mean treat it like a job, show up. Showing up is half the battle, just like it is with a real job, let me tell you. But if you show up to your desk, to the library, to wherever you're going to have your daily studying routine, that is going to be half the battle. Then each day, once you're there, once you're at your desk, wherever you may be, make sure you're making the most of your study time. Don't spend time scrolling on your phone. Try your best to turn off your phone, lock in as best you can, so that you're maximizing your daytime study hours. Because what we start to see is with students who do not treat this like a job, they allow things to build. Studying for the bar exam is like a snowball, right? You start out with this tiny little snowball, and as we get closer to the exam, the information you're taking in and what you need to know, it starts to build and build and build and build and build. If you're going along with the snowball, it won't overwhelm you. It won't consume you. But if you wait until July to really try to get a wrangle on this thing, that snowball is going to be gigantic and it will crush you, and you will not be able to do all you need to do to pass the bar exam at that point. If you are treating this like a job, you should be well set up for success on the bar exam. The third core mindset principle here is to treat every wrong answer like an opportunity. Too often, students get dejected by wrong answers. They start to allow that doubt that I talked about before to creep in every time they don't score as well as maybe they wanted to on a practice question set. But that is not what bar prep is about. Bar prep is about treating every question, every wrong answer like an opportunity. And even some of your right answers should be opportunities, right? Because let's say you got a question right on a multiple choice question set, but you kind of guessed, you kind of didn't necessarily have the nuances of the law down, and maybe you got lucky in getting that question right. That is not going to be a useful lesson to take from your bar exam prep. When I talk about treating every wrong answer like an opportunity, what I mean is you should keep a book, some sort of log, some sort of document in which you're writing out the rule statements for every wrong answer you get. I know it's very common now to do a lot of practice questions online, whether it be by Adapt-A-Bar, UWorld, whatever it may be, but I strongly recommend you do a lot of paper practice questions as well, because I just think it's so valuable to actually look through the process of reading through a question on paper and then actually writing out your wrong answers in a little book. And so you see, you're building the gaps in your knowledge. You're filling those gaps by saying, hey, I got this question wrong. It doesn't matter right now because I still have time to fill that gap in my knowledge, but at least I'm addressing the deficiencies in my knowledge. And every wrong answer should be an opportunity for you to both identify and address those inconsistencies, those deficiencies in your knowledge, and to fill those gaps. The fourth of our mindset principles, and our final one here, is don't become a study robot. This isn't the type of advice you'll typically get from a bar exam tutor or people who teach about the bar exam, but I think it's really integral. The bar exam, as much as people may hate to admit it, is just another exam that you're going to take in your life. Don't think that you need to sacrifice your entire life for this exam. Listen, sacrifice will be involved. You may not be able to go to certain events as the bar exam gets closer, but you don't need to completely shun your family or take extreme steps to sacrifice things in order to prepare for this exam. What I really want to emphasize here is that you can still have a life while studying for the bar exam. As long as you are adhering to the 3 principles I talked about before, and that is treating it like a job, treating every wrong answer like an opportunity, and keeping your self-esteem up, keeping in the right mindset that you can and will pass this exam. You can go out to dinner, you can go out for drinks on a weekend, you can spend time with your friends and family, but that is not going to be as easy. You are not going to be able to maintain that status as not being a study robot if you are not making the most of your daytime study, if you are not taking this seriously, because that's when things like doubt creep in. That's when things like anxiety about not having done enough. That's when that snowball I mentioned before starts to seem so daunting over you. Now, the 5th important mindset principle that I'm going to talk with you guys about, and I know I've said it's final for the last 2, but this is our final mindset principle. Get comfortable with the idea of being uncomfortable. This is something that seems counterintuitive because so much of your academic careers is likely defined by the idea that if you study, if you do the work, if you prepare adequately, you are going to be fine. You'll be comfortable come exam time. But those of you who've taken law school exams, you know that there's really no level of comfort to those exams. It's just not the way the test is meant to function. And the same is true with the bar exam. No matter how much you study, no matter how prepared you are not going to feel super comfortable. There is going to come a question on the exam that is going to have you blanking completely. You're going to think, what did I even study? What did I spend the last 2 months of my life preparing for? Because this looks like it's written in a foreign language. It's okay. You need to understand and you need to get in the mindset that it doesn't matter if there is a question that completely flummoxes me, I can still persevere. I know this stuff. I can identify what this is. I am comfortable, even though it's not my ideal state of being, with the idea of being uncomfortable for a brief moment and moving on from there and learning from that uncomfortable feeling. And I can persevere over that and still score well on this exam. So get comfortable with the idea of being uncomfortable, both on the exam and in bar prep, when you are not scoring well, when you are struggling, when you feel that you are way off from where you need to be, and when it comes to preparing for the exam. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable and you'll be fine and set come exam day. This has been our video on bar exam mindset, the second video in our bar exam roadmap series. Be sure to check us out at barcastaudio.com. Be sure to subscribe to this channel for more of these videos. Until later, I will talk to you guys soon. Bye now.